Hello and welcome to this BuyBotPro video. So in this video, I wanted to go over all of the charts in BuyBotPro as they are all extremely useful. So the first one we're going to talk about is the main sales chart here. Now with this you can see a history of the item in several different aspects, and there's so much that you can read from this. All of the lines are color coded based on the key here, so purple for the FBA price, orange for Amazon, the pink line for the buy box price, and so forth. Now obviously, because that is a lot right now, we can toggle off some of these here to make it a little bit easier to read. So maybe we'll look at the BSR a little bit later on. Maybe we're not concerned with FBM, and let's come back to the lowest new price in a moment. So if you hover over any point in the chart, it comes out with this little pop-out box which shows you what exactly was going on with the item at that exact moment in time. If we toggle on more of these, it'll include that information as well. We can see that for a lot of the time, the Amazon line and the buy box line do often line up. This means that Amazon have most likely had the buy box at that point in time, and this point is reinforced by when we hover over it and we get this pop-out box, the prices are the same, which just shows me that Amazon did have the buy box. Now with the Amazon line, you'll notice that there is a block orange color underneath. So this is just showing me that Amazon have been in stock, and obviously the line isn't there and it is white, so that tells me that Amazon weren't in stock for this period. Now one of the most common reasons for why Amazon may have been getting the buy box is because they've set the lowest new price on the item. So let's toggle this on. And this is the blue line here. We can see again that for a good majority of the time, this does line up with the Amazon line, the prices match. So this is probably why they have been getting the buy box. Let's look at something else as well on this chart, just to give you an example of how it works. Let's look at the BSR. So let's toggle this one on. What you want from this line is for it to have lots of movement, and you want it to be as close to the bottom of the chart as possible. The closer it is to the bottom of the chart, the lower the number, and the lower the number, the better the BSR. So with BSR, let's say there is 100,000 products within a category. The item at number 1 is performing the best, it's the most popular. The item at number 100,000 is performing the worst, it's not doing very well at all. So the closer you are to 1, the better. So as I say, the lower the number, it's just better. We can see that for the vast majority of the time that we've got here, it does spend a lot of its time underneath the sort of halfway point there and close to the bottom of the chart, which is good. And the reason why I say you want lots of movement is because this means there has been lots of sales for the item. So for every piece of movement, even if it is the smallest little squiggle, that means there's been at least one sale for the item. It could be more, but it means that there's been at least one, which is why I say lots of movement. What's reassuring about this as well is we can see that when the item has not done so great BSR-wise, when it shoots up, it doesn't spend very long at that not so great BSR before very quickly jumping back to a better BSR. So that is quite reassuring in the sense that if this did ever occur again and the item didn't do so great BSR wise, that won't be for very long at all. It'll very quickly go back up to being a good BSR. That then leads me on to the sales heat map, which is just here. This is this bar. Now you can toggle this on or off if you want to see it. And what this is it's a very simplistic view of how popular the item is and how well it is doing. So this works primarily with the BSR line, so I'll leave that on like that. Now it works the same as the temperature on a weather forecast, so the redder the better. So ideally you want as much red on there as you can get. Where it is red, that means the sales have been really good for the item. Where you've got it orangey like that, the sales have been okay, not as great as they usually are. And where you've got white or a yellowish color, the item has not been selling or hardly selling at all. And where you've got a darker line like this, that means there has been a period of really intense sales, which then leads me on to this bit here. So if we click and drag any section in the main sales chart, it will zoom into that section so we can analyze that in a lot more detail and a lot more close up, so we can see exactly what was going on in that moment and understand why things are happening the way they are. And then we can reset the zoom there. So for the charts in here, they work with this day range. So right now it's on 90 days, but we can select 7 or 365, so over the course of a year, which is really useful for seeing if an item is maybe a seasonal item. So let's say there was lots of red and lots of movement going on from October through to December or something like that. That shows me that the item is really popular around Christmas, and let's say for the rest of the year on the sales heat map it's very orange or white and there's hardly anything going on in the chart, that will just reinforce the fact that this item does better around Christmas time in Q4. And then you've got all time. So this shows me the complete history of the item since it was first ever listed on Amazon. We can see here that this item has consistently been red throughout that time. So this item is a good, strong, solid seller. Then we have the offers and reviews chart. So this is going to show me the new offer count, which is how many sellers have basically come onto the listing. And what you want from this line is you want stability. You want it to remain fairly steady. So if you come to the lowest point, so the lowest amount that there has been is 28, and if we come to the highest point, 45, you want it to remain somewhere in the middle for the vast majority of time, as that shows that there is a consistent interest in this item. Obviously, it's worth something if sellers are continuously coming onto the listing, and it just reinforces that this is a stable item. You then have the review count, which shows you the amount of reviews, and obviously this has gone up and up and up and up, which is great. Lots of people have been buying it and leaving a review, and the rating has consistently remained at 4.9 out of 5 stars, which reinforces the popularity of the item. Below this you have the main and subcategory BSR value, so it's your BSR line again. It shows you what category this is in, and then to get a real in-depth view into the BSR, it will then show you the BSR for the subcategory. So within toys and games, this is in building sets. So if you hover over this again, you get a real, as I say, in-depth view into how the item has performed BSR wise. You've then got the buy box statistics table. So to trigger this, you need to select a day range. So let's select 180, for example. So it'll come up with this table. So this basically shows you who has had the most possession over the buy box. So Amazon have won it 93% of the time. So as we saw in the main sales chart above, Amazon have heavily dominated this listing. Next up, you've got Tronics UK at 6% and so forth. You've then got the name of the seller. It lets you know if they are an FBA seller, so it'll tick it if they are, and it won't tick it if it's Amazon themselves or merchant fulfilled. It'll then show you the review count and the positive feedback percentage rating here. And then it will show you the last date and time when they won the buy box and how long ago that was exactly. And then obviously this information will change depending on what day range you have selected. You then have the price average charts here. So this is going to show you the average for different factors like the Amazon price, the FBA price, the buy box price, the BSR and things like that. So you've got different ranges here, so 7 days, 30 days, 90 days. And what you're looking for here is stability. So you don't want it in the last 7 days to be all the way up here and the last 30 all the way down there, as that shows instability. And obviously we don't want that on an item. So basically this is what it will show. And you can view this in bar chart form if that's easier for you, or in table form. Depending on which one you prefer, you can toggle one or the other off in your BuyBotPro settings, depending which one you want. And then last but not least, you have the seller position chart, which works exactly the same as your competition analysis up here. It's just a visual way of looking at it. So you've got blue for the price and pink for the stock level. So hovering over each of these points will show you the seller, what type of seller they are as well, and what price they've got the item at, and how many they have got in stock currently. So that will change as you hover over each point. So it's just a different way of looking at the competition analysis. If you're using the manual sourcing accelerator, obviously you'll find the item on whichever website, right click, click on the BuyBotPro option, and then just find it, analyze with BuyBotPro. And all of your charts are condensed to this button here. So if you click on that, it'll show you all of the same charts that we were just looking at. And if you are just looking up an item in general and you have the quick look feature turned on, you can click on BuyBotPro charts there and it will open this up. And again, you will see all of the same charts that we were just looking at. Hopefully that's helped your understanding. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.